Okay, let's dive into this. Right now, there is just an overwhelming amount of noise surrounding AI in the business world, right? For agency owners and decision makers evaluating new automation tools, it's honestly incredibly difficult to separate the flashy marketing hype from actual deployable reality. In this explainer, our goal is to cut straight through that noise. We're looking specifically at Salesforce Agentforce. I want to give you a clear, professional briefing on what it actually does, where it fits into a business, and what a realistic implementation looks like. No superlatives, just a factual, grounded look at the technology.
Here is our agenda for today. 1. Demystifying Agentforce. 2. Core building blocks. 3. A case study on customer onboarding. 4. Value and limitations. And 5. Implementation and costs.
Section 1. Demystifying Agentforce. To truly understand this tool, we first have to ground the big promise of AI into reality. We really need to look at the stark contrast between generic AI and enterprise AI. When most folks think of AI, they picture platforms like ChatGPT, tools trained on the open internet. And hey, that's great for brainstorming, but it's a massive liability for secure customer data. Agentforce, however, is entirely different. It is completely grounded in your company's actual CRM data and operates strictly within Salesforce's existing security models. It doesn't have free rein. It only sees and does exactly what your administrators explicitly allow it to. So, by definition, Agentforce is Salesforce's platform for building autonomous AI agents that work directly inside your existing Salesforce environment. This is a massive leap past those rigid, script-following chatbots we're all used to. An Agentforce agent actually understands requests in natural language, it reasons about what needs to happen next, and then takes real, concrete actions inside your CRM. We're talking about autonomously creating records, updating data, running automations, and answering questions right from your secure knowledge base.
Section 2. Core building blocks. Let's move to and see how this builds out.
Every agent relies on these 5 building blocks. First, topics. These are the specific jobs the agent is allowed to handle, which keeps it focused and stops it from wandering off script. Second, actions. These are the concrete things it can do, built from standard admin tools like Flows or Apex. Third, instructions. Think of these as your standard operating procedures written in plain language, telling the agent what to ask for and when to hand off to a human. Fourth, knowledge, allowing the agent to reference your actual company articles. Finally, the Atlas reasoning engine. This is essentially the brain that interprets user intent and seamlessly chains these steps together. Section 3, case study, customer onboarding. This is where we take things from abstract to incredibly practical.
Consider traditional customer onboarding. We all know the pain. A salesperson emails a PDF, the customer eventually emails it back, someone manually retypes those answers into Salesforce, just praying for no typos, and you endure days of frustrating back and forth. With an Agentforce onboarding agent, that flow transforms completely. Let's walk through it. First, the new customer initiates a chat on your portal. Second, the agent conversationally collects all required details, validating that information in real time. Third, it autonomously creates or updates account and contact records right in Salesforce. Fourth, it triggers your onboarding automation, assigning tasks and firing off a welcome email. Fifth, it answers any setup questions immediately using your knowledge base. And sixth, if anything unusual comes up, it seamlessly escalates the issue to a human, providing them with the complete context of the conversation. And this brilliantly illustrates the true value proposition of the platform. Onboarding that used to take days of tedious manual coordination now happens in minutes. The data lands in Salesforce correctly the very first time, completely eliminating rekeying errors. Most importantly, your human team is no longer acting as data entry clerks. They only step in to touch the exceptions and manage the actual human relationships.
Section 4. Value and honest limitations. Before you consider scaling, let's set some honest expectations about this technology. Agentforce is absolutely strongest when pointed at processes with these 4 traits: high volume and repetitive tasks, processes that are extremely data entry heavy, question-driven workflows based on existing documentation, and multi-step tasks that follow known rules. Beyond onboarding, the best use cases include things like customer service triage, appointment scheduling, and lead routing. If your process fits this profile, the agent is going to thrive. But here is the hard truth limitation. Agentforce is not magic. An agent is only exactly as good as the data you put behind it.
A messy Salesforce org produces a confused agent. If your underlying data is disorganized, well, the agent will just help you execute that disorganization at lightning speed. It doesn't replace a team. Its real purpose is to remove the repetitive load from your team so they can handle complex judgment calls.
Section 5. Implementation and licensing costs. From a practical standpoint, let's look at the realities of rolling this out.
A realistic first implementation isn't an overnight switch. It follows a strict phased path. Week 1 is discovery and design, mapping the current process and verifying data readiness. Weeks 2 and 3 are the pilot build, configuring the agent, building flows, and designing conversational paths. Week 4 is testing and refinement, running real-world scenarios, testing failure cases, and setting strict escalation rules before you ever go live.
So keeping that phased approach in mind, a focused pilot, which means launching on one channel for one core process, takes exactly 4 to 5 weeks end to end. That is a highly realistic timeline to go from a whiteboard concept to a live, functioning agent. Finally, let's talk about the cost model. Agentforce sits right on top of your existing Salesforce edition and uses consumption-based pricing. This means cost scale with actual agent usage rather than forcing you into expensive per-seat licenses for every employee. The crucial point is this. Any organization evaluating this must size their expected conversation volume during that week 1 discovery phase. You need to understand your ongoing costs before you launch, not after the bill arrives. To wrap this explainer up, the major advantage here is that companies can adopt Agentforce without creating new data silos or undergoing massive new security reviews. It frees your teams for higher value work while functioning within a CRM you already trust. But as we've learned, the AI is only as good as the foundation it stands on. Which leaves us with the most important question you need to ask yourself today. Is your company's data truly ready for an agent?